Yo, yo, yo. How's everybody doing today? Happy weekend to you all. Happy Sunday to us all. Hope everybody had a chance to get outside, get some sun, enjoy enjoy the last couple of weeks of summer. You know, it's August. If you live in the northern hemisphere, you're going into the fall soon, and it's funny, summer ends quick, doesn't it? So I want to welcome you all to another exciting episode of the Big Chonis Chat. Crypto chat with BigChonis. That is me. Hello, you guys. You guys can find me on Twitter. I am at BigChonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, a mentor, a chart psychologist, an investor, a photographer, and a chef. Guys, please do your own research. I want to briefly mention I am currently accepting new students for my September mentoring program. Still a couple spots open for the first week of September, and then I'll be scheduling my second week. If you have any interest in this, I believe this is a great program, and so far I feel I've actually helped several students that I met and made a lot of new friends in the month of August. So I'm happy to extend this into September. And any interest, please DM me on Twitter or email me bigchonis@gmail.com. I'm also part of the 1 mil trading package. You could find information on that as well. Okay, let's go into some Bitcoin. So I wanted to first bring up here this rising price with our declining volume here. And it's very interesting to see what we want to find here, because when we see volume declining, you know, it can mean a couple things. It can mean the selling has dried up, and it can mean that the buying has dried up. And what we like to see is consistency. We like to see things that make sense. You know, bigger volume brings in higher prices or lower prices if it goes bearish, but consistency. And what we're seeing here is we're seeing consistently that we're declining in our volume here. Our spikes, save a couple, and this one basically was a correction from how big this actual spike was, artificial from our BitMEX on out of order for an hour spike there, right? So we can ignore these because that was pretty artificial. But what we're seeing is the decline in volume really through the month of August here, while the price kind of has this kind of trickle up here, and you're thinking to yourself, well, how is that? Does that make sense? You know, to me, does that make sense? Where our volume's declining, but our price is rising. When we see maybe more volume coming in to sustain, to kind of show a little more like there's more behind this move than just more of an artificial kind of trickle up here. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because over the month, I'm on the 4 hour chart, but I'm looking at this from basically when we bottomed over here and how we've been kind of going slightly bullish but sideways ever since. But our volume isn't really not impressing me, and I wanted to kind of pivot to here, where yesterday's volume was just over 3 billion and today's volume is just over 3 billion. So once again, we're finding this low volume environment. You know, look at all of August here, the 3 billion, 4 billion, 4 billion, 3 billion. We did hit 5 billion a couple times in mid-August, but this is what's going on here now. Market cap is still over 100 billion. Our 24-hour volume 3 billion, current supply 17,232,500 Bitcoin out there, and our overall crypto market cap is 217 billion, comprising 53.3% of that is straight up Bitcoin. So dominance is more than half. We have 1,890 coins out there, traded on 13,547 markets. I mean, I can only name a handful of exchanges out there, and then there's like thousands more out there. And even the coins themselves, you know, we're getting closer to 2,000 coins out there and tokens. And I mean, how many can you name off the top of your head? I mean, I study this a lot. I can probably pull up maybe 30, 40, 50 coins. I don't know where all these rests are coming from. But what this does do is it further dilutes the market, I feel, and takes money away from Bitcoin and coins that actually have some real meaning and some real backing behind them, either with their financing or just with their overall use, uh, proof of use concept and what their white paper does suggest. And I hope to be talking about those as we go through the fall, because I think we're going to see in the altcoins some of the winners separated from some of the losers. And how you'll know it will be losers because it will break its all-time lows, set in new lows, and eventually get delisted and go to zero. We're already seeing that on a lot of coins. Old coins leave, new coins come in. The price is continues. And really what these coins are trying to do is they want to position themselves for the next bull run, the next time where good money flow is flowing into the crypto market, and they can maximize. What the heck just happened there? I'm having the worst time with TradingView, and can maximize kind of that next bull run and be kind of in the right position to be on top of that. So let's go over a couple things here. We're on the 4-hour chart, so let's talk about our 4-hour RSI. We're going to start with this because we've been watching this channel for quite some time here. Supports, resistances. Okay, our middle resistance line is holding resistance, but we actually found support here at 53, which we see, boom, here, 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 here. So many areas where 53 is acted as support and resistance. Once again, we're acting as support, but we're getting a little tight here. We can still break it or hold, and as long as we hold our lower support line, I'm very comfortable keeping this area to be in an area that we can actually find some bullish continuation. That's important here because the trends are important. The trend is your friend. Even though we've had a lot of sideways momentum in Bitcoin, we have had this uptrend on our RSI. Now, we haven't gone very far in this RSI momentum in terms of price with the RSI rising, and I want to bring up our daily charts to kind of show that a little bit more in depth. So you can see that my 4-hour channel actually looks pretty accurate on my daily channel, where we see we're just holding our support there. But the bigger thing I wanted to mention is this kind of head and shoulders that a lot of people are watching out for. And the reason they're watching out for is because the more defined and the more clear certain patterns in charting can become, the more they actually tend to play out. So even on the RSI, we're watching some sort of a head and shoulders pattern play out here. Now, the only way this actually becomes valid or can be valid is if we hold this pattern, which means we can't go up much higher on the RSI. Now, right here, where we topped off on our alleged potential left shoulder, was at 53 on the daily chart. Now, we're right here. We're at 51. Rejected. We're at 50. Okay, so we can have one more nice little bullish pop, okay, and tickle 53. Remember, on the daily, this kind of lags, so we could even break through it, but when the time closes, we can actually fall below it, and there's no kind of residual shadow to kind of confirm that was the case. So what this tells me is we can go a little bit higher in our RSI and still be in this very bearish head and shoulders pattern that could play out on our RSI. Now, I'm seeing it on our RSI all obviously because I'm seeing it on the actual chart, the actual price action of the chart here. So I'm gonna clean up a couple things here. And one more. Where are you? There you are, and there you are. Okay, so let's just keep it clean here. And this is what we talked about actually last night on Vamp Show. We were trying to figure out, what negates this head and shoulders here. And really what is going to negate it is a bullish push really above and holding 7K. And right now we definitely have a defined right shoulder, but as you see here on our left shoulder, we had several wicks that actually define our left shoulder. So even though our top off was here, there were several wicks in this area here that actually produced a shoulder. We have this wick here. We could definitely have another one up here or here in a few days later and still kind of have this shoulder here. The reason I keep bringing this up is because it's important to know where this could lead us here. Now, the whole market right now is based on holding $6,000. The whole market of Bitcoin, the whole market of alts right now, a lot of that is based on holding the 6K area. The miners, the exchanges, they want their fees, okay? They bet so much money that they made in the latter half of 2017 in building up their infrastructure and building up kind of a stronger system so when they can absorb more money flow. And right now, they're not making the fee money that they had planned on making. And because of that, they're doing their best to keep this up with what? Tether printing, right? We've seen that. Certain other areas here where we're basically watching that happen. So if we can keep this going, that's what the exchanges are fighting for. But at some point, they're just not going to be able to do it. And it's kind of scary because we don't know what this market can be like in a sub. Let's just say breaking our June lows here. This $5,800 area here. It's very important not to break that, because we set this whole new paradigm in. And what this means is that this paradigm consists of lots of stuff in the 5Ks, the 4Ks, maybe even the 3Ks. But I don't want to touch on that yet today, because seriously, we're still ranging bullish. And the reason I want to bring that up is because of what is currently holding us up here. So I mentioned my EMAs I like to use, my 12, my 26, my 21, and my 55. Now, my 21 I like to use for more higher time frames. My weekly and my monthly, because it's so close to my 26, I kind of know where it is, but I feel it's very valid because it also is a fib number. But I like to use my 55 as either major support or resistance, and then my 12 and my 26 is kind of my two EMAs that I like to watch dance with each other. When we go bearish crossing here, I knew we have time to play out. Now, nothing's happened here. We have crossed bullishly, not yet, okay? Our lower one, our 12, needs to cross up and into our 26, and even better would cross up and through our 55. What's holding us up on today's candle, this is a daily candle, look at that, was our 12. Okay, that's bullish to me still, because that still shows that our 12, which was once resistance, and we actually closed above here, we've actually held it for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And what we want to really accomplish is to get over our 26. We got rejected here. We actually closed above here, and right now we're still above it, even though intraday we broke through. So that's why you want to make for confirmation on higher time frames to kind of set your trends in here. So I'm seeing two things that are bullishly positive. One is our 12 and our 26 are definitely holding this area here, and that's very important. But we're also seeing how major our 55 EMA has been when it has been rejecting here, and especially on this wick we had here, where it really showed how important and how strong that was going to be. So if we touch it one more time, 68.44, okay, it's flattening, which is good. We were descending a lot, now we're flattening. So we're getting very tight here, and this is telling me a couple things. Like, if we can break bullish here, again, this could be a couple more days here because of how still spaced out we are. It took either a very massive move for our bull crosses to commence through here, here, and here, but it also took a very massive move for our bear crosses to commence. So on our higher time frame, this will take time. We can go on our 6 hour though, and I want to bring up our 6 hour because similar attributes do apply. So we have our 6 hour, we have our EMA 12 holding as support. That's important because we broke it bearish, we came back up, hauled, and held. And we see right down here, we have two areas of major support, which acted as very good support here and here ever since, 65.70 and 65.60. So again, very tight range, slowly rising. Are we rising wedging, or are we doing some sort of an ascending triangle here? I mean, if I go just body to body, and if I go, I guess I got to start down here. That's where we kind of ended here. We're definitely doing this rising, this is bearish. This is a rising wedge here. This is part of this bear flag that's becoming less of a bear flag and more of just now this pattern is onto itself, and we keep rising up. Now we can keep in this channel here. We've yet to close above the last 2 weeks of August on the 6 hour chart, so that's definitely very noticeable there. But these are things you have to keep an eye on, because the patterns seem more relevant on higher time frames than lower ones, mostly because of our sideways pattern, sideways action here. What's going on with our stochastics? So we're putting in higher lows, which is encouraging. We're getting to our top area here when we do reset. That's not bad. So again, we're definitely showing that we're resetting quicker. Okay, we're basically putting in more of a line here of support higher up. We're not going as low, so this is still bullish, because when we are resetting, we're actually finding support, which means the market keeps buying up red candles, and until that trend changes, we're kind of in that mode there. I want to bring up our OBV now. Our OBV, this is where I like to watch for. Why is this so? I know I brightened this before. I made it bigger, and then all of a sudden, TradingView just takes it away from me. That's not bad. I like purple. Purple looks good. So we're watching to see the divergences. Can we see bearish divergence? Can we see bullish divergence? We want to see our we want to see our movement of our price correspond with our movement of our OBB. And if we don't see that, then we actually get to see some sort of a divergence there. But right now, we're pretty much in line, more or less, because we're basically just static here. I wanted to bring up our weekly chart because, guys, it's Sunday, right? Weekly ends today. Now, it's an interesting candle. It's not. Again, we still have several more hours. We have 4 more hours. We have 4 more hours for this to play out. Okay, so the thought about keeping it going and keeping Bitcoin moving is all about making this weekly candle look as good as it can be here. So we need to close a little higher than where we are now, or else become some sort of an indecision doji here. We don't want it. We don't want that here. Now the bottom wicks are promising, okay. But I did bring up, and I guess I have to go to another older chart here. No, definitely not Bittrex. No, that's not here either. Bitstamp, that's the one. Where I was looking at earlier, and I actually tweeted this earlier. Actually, let me bring it up here. Why not, right? Hey, Birdie. Yeah, so this was something that I keep watching our 2014 fractal, right? And we keep watching it because we want to see if we can find, order in the chaos. If we can find some sort of situation where we can see what happens in the past. Is it going to translate to what could happen in the future? So right now we have a rejection on our EMA 55 on 2014, right, November, and that also showed that our EMA 12 rejection here and here was the last time we actually came close to touching it, and we actually broke super bearish for several weeks here heading into the end of the year there. Now over here, present day 2018, I wanted to note our EMA 55 and EMA 12 are currently acting as resistance like we had here. We have this very quick, this was a weekly comparison, but we have a situation where we went up very fast and then we went down very fast. And we have a situation now where we went up very fast, went down very fast. Remember, fractals are fractals. They're not exact science here, but they allow us to see similarities, because what we're doing is the exact same thing similarly than we did back in 2014, which is we are unwinding from a parabolic move. Okay, this did happen. Okay, so we watched this happening here, and we see once we were able to reject both of these EMAs, it was downhill from there for several weeks until we actually had a really nasty capitulation bottom with a very nice bottom wick, and then several more months of range trading. A couple ups, couple downs, range trading, okay? Finally, one last down to touch and put in a higher low, and then we were off to the races in our next bull market, okay? So if we are here, and I think we are, then that means that we are moving faster in our corrective space, because right now we're in August, and these moves here actually happened in November of that year. So is it possible we're ahead of the game here? It's possible. Again, we're just using the TA, or using the information we have in front of us to basically make best decisions, best choices. So our stochastic here, it's still turned bearish. A little bull cross here, but still we're in a bearish setting in our stochastic. Our RSI on our weekly is always going to be important to me, because it's going to show these areas where that's not helpful at all up there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we see we keep rejecting here at 52, and we're just under 50. And when we're under 50, that's bad. There we go. Here we go. Okay, just had a moment there to catch up, didn't you, computer? Oh, I'm lagging again. All right, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm lagging here. It should be better on the replay. So what we're seeing here is that our supports here are once again being tested, and we're range bound here. We're still under 50, and I wanted to bring this up because we know what oversold, we know what a bearish RSI on our weekly chart can be. We can get into these much lower areas, and if we can break really bearish, this is where we end up breaking. So we still have a ways to go, and again, this could correspond with a bearish completion of so many of our bearish indicators, our head and shoulders, our just overall capitulation and our overall unwinding from our parabolic move here. So here's some of the things I'm watching on the Bitcoin chart. I did want to bring up a couple more things. Look at the longs and the shorts. Bitcoin shorts. Now, of course, we've been watching this for quite some time. This is our weekly chart here. You can kind of see it just as easily. That actually feels very good here. So once again, we've been trying to get up to this all-time high area here on our weekly. This is kind of a nasty wick here, basically showing there's some less bearishness in the market, but more or less just money flow. Shorts are kind of taking a lot of their positions off the table. A lot of that is either taking profit because maybe they've shorted back in the 8,500 range, 7,500 range, rode it all the way down, or maybe like, you know what, we're going up a couple $100 higher. Maybe I'll re-enter my short at a higher Bitcoin price. So even though we're shooting starish kind of here with this long wick, again, week isn't over, still got 4 more hours to go. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's a major trend change. Something like this, I think, clearly can show something very different where we got this high and we actually ended up way down here. This is a lot more, take some time to roll over looking, which means that the next week we can actually come back here and retest some of these areas and maybe even try and attempt some sort of another all-time high attempt there. I can go a little lower, 4 hour. And yeah, we're finding support on our AMA 55. We're trying to curve back up. We're out of our channel slightly, but that's okay. I kind of want to be something like that there. Yep, lagging again. Need a bull market to improve the internet. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's this computer. I think it's crapping the bit. So I guess we'll leave it there, guys. A little quick Sunday show. I got a beef stew in the crock pot, so I gotta attend to that. It's been on the cycle for about 5 hours now, and excited to dive into that. I'm going to add some green peas at the very end for a nice little touch. But quick tweet I put out earlier. We watched the support hold at 61.8% pullback. We'd like to see continuation of that. If we break bearish, we're definitely going to retest our lower support lines here. We're looking for money flow. We're looking for volume. We're not seeing much of either. And any volume that comes in is suspect. Every wick that gets bought up is sold into. Every wick that gets broken is sold out. And eventually this is not going to hold. I think we're going to last week of August. Might see a more consistency of what we've been seeing just because it's still August. People on vacation. But September is going to be a very dynamic, very interesting month, all right? So we're going to keep at it there. So until then, guys, thank you so much. Remember, you guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at BigChonis. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. So sorry for the lag in some parts. It should basically fix itself on the replay. And yeah, if Bitcoin can go a little bit higher, I definitely can invest in a new computer system. So until then, guys, have a great weekend. I'll definitely be in touch on Twitter through the week, putting out some charts, and I might be putting out some different sectors of interest here. We've been watching. I watch where the money flow goes. I'm a trader. I cut my teeth in stock trading, and a lot of money flowing into marijuana stocks, related stocks, MJ cannabis, CBD, hemp related materials, cannabis delivery system, vaporizers, stuff like that. So there's all sorts of money flowing into that sector. I'm going to keep an eye on some of these very risky instruments here, but definitely things you want to keep an eye on because there's money flowing in there. And if money can flow in there, make some money, maybe it can fly back into crypto at someday. So till then, we'll be in touch, guys. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you all very, very soon.